Hi everyone, welcome back to the request response channel. In this video, you will learn how to write automated CRUD API tests using Bruno and JavaScript. In the previous video, we created our get, post, put, and delete requests. If you missed that, you can watch the earlier lesson, but you can still follow along here. Now it's time to automate them. But before writing any tests, let's quickly understand how Bruno handles JavaScript-based assertions. Bruno uses a testing syntax inspired by real automation frameworks, specifically Mocha-style test blocks. This defines your test case. And Chai-style expect assertions. This defines what you're validating. This makes Bruno extremely familiar to anyone who has worked with JavaScript automation. Every test in Bruno follows this structure. Everything inside test is treated as a single automated test. Inside the parentheses, we have a descriptive name or test case name. This is what appears in the test result panel. The second argument is a function containing the logic of the test. This is exactly how Mocha works, just simplified. Okay, let's start automating our request. Let's start with the get method. Open our demo API collection, select the get request. You should already have a simple assertion in the assert panel. But now we will turn it into a full JavaScript test. Let's switch to the test panel and add this test here. What this test does. This is a Mocha style function built into Bruno. Inside the parentheses, we provide a name of the test case, and the second part is our function. Is the execution block. Everything inside this block is what Bruno actually evaluates. You can think of it like telling Bruno, run this code as a test and tell me if it passes. Inside the block we write expect RESTGetStatus to equal to 100. This is used Chai-style assertions, which read almost like English. I expect the response status to equal to 100. If the API returns to 100, the test passes. If it returns anything else, the test fails. This is the foundation of API testing, turning expected behavior into code. Now press send and see the result in the test panel. As you can see, we got a green response with passed test should return status 200 for successfully received user list. And that's your first automated get test. Now let's open post request, switch to the test panel, and let's write our test for the status code. We have a name, should create a new user in return status 201. Whenever we send a post request, we expect the API to create something. In REST APIs, a successful creation almost always returns 201 status code. So there, we're telling Bruno, if the user was created, the response must have a 201 status code. If the API responds with 201, the test passes. If it returns 400, 500, or anything else, the test fails. This gives you an instant signal that your post operation works as expected. Click Send. This gives you an instant result, right? You can validate your data here, and also in test panel you can see that we got a pass test should create a new user and return status code 201. Now select your put method and switch to the test panel and add our test to check the success status code. Put is used to update an existing resource, as you remember. When the update succeeds, the API usually returns a 200 OK status. This test simply verifies that the API found the user, the update happened correctly, the server confirmed it with a 200 response. Again, if the API behaves differently, for example returns 404, user not found, the test will fail, which is exactly what you want during automation to cut failures, right? So let's send our request, and as you can see in the test panel, our test passed. Finally, we now can open our delete method, switch again to the test panel, write our test with test case name should delete user and return status 200 or 204. Why two status codes? Different APIs behave differently after deleting something. Some respond with 200 OK, but some respond with 204 no content. Both are valid, so this test checks that the response is one of the allowed success codes, which makes your test more flexible and avoids false failures. If the response is 200 or 204, test passes. Anything else, test fails and the delete operation didn't work. Let's run it. And you can see the test passes with 200 OK, which is part of our expected result. And that's it. You have just learned how to turn your basic API request into real automated test cases using JavaScript and Bruno. This is the foundation of any API automation workflow. Status validation, structured test blocks, and clear pass-fail results. In the next lesson, we are taking things a step further. We will learn how to chain CRUD operations, how to store and use variables, pass data between requests, and start building a mini API test suite, just like in real automation frameworks. If you want to follow the full beginner series, make sure to subscribe.